Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to do a font size comparison of using M's versus root M's or REMs. Okay, so I've already got a web page set up with a couple of divs that I'm using here. One of my divs is classified as M's, the other one is classified as REMs, and I'd like to see how font sizes appear in my web page using these two methods. Both of these articles are identical in structure. They have a headline too, they have a couple of paragraphs. One of the paragraphs happens to have a hyperlink in it, anchor tag. Okay, so one of them is going to be sized with M's, the other one's going to be sized with REMs, and let's see what the difference happens to be. So I'm going to head to an internal area for my scripts. There we go. And I've already got these articles sized, and let me go ahead and set up a couple here for the M's. I'll do a descendant selector, and I'm going to make my headline 2s font size 2M. My M's paragraphs and my M's article are both going to be set to the same size, a font size of 1.2M. And then last but not least, my M's anchor tags. I want that to be a little bit bigger than the text, so I'm going to do a font size of 1.3M. Okay, so those are all being sized with the M's. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on the browser. Okay, so by default we can see what's happening here. I still need to work on the REM side of styling, but notice that my text looks rather large. I'm not zoomed in. Actually, just double check on my browser. Nope, I'm right at 100%, but things are exceptionally large. My hyperlink text is very large here. Now let's do a comparison with REMs to see what that impact is. This will be pretty easy because I've got the same structure. I can just copy all of these CSS rules for M's, and I can just throw in M's to root M's. And of course, I'll change out the values for the properties. All right, Control S to save. Oh, that's right. I also, for root M's to really work, they need to have a base, a main source, and that will use the HTML selector. And I'll set a font size of 16 pixels, which is a standard default size. Let's head over to the browser and refresh. And now we can start to really see what's going on. The root M's are actually behaving a little bit more how I envision this web page. My hyperlink text is just a little bit bigger than the regular paragraph text, and the paragraph's text is certainly smaller than my headline text. And the problem with the standard M's is really being exaggerated here, because basically my paragraph text is much larger because it's within the article. So my paragraph is set to 1.2 M's. Now that's 1.2 in relation to its parent, which is the article. So you can even kind of consider it to be my paragraph text is 20% bigger than article text, even though I set them both to 1.2 M's. And my hyperlink text, my anchor tags, they are 30% larger than its parent, which in this case is a paragraph. So they're 30% bigger than my paragraph. And that's not what I wanted. I want my hyperlinks just to be a shade bigger than my paragraph text. So by setting a root M, you have much better control about the relative sizes of your fonts. And of course, you can play around with a lot of these just by adjusting the main source size. So I chose a font size of 16 pixels. Some web developers might put in something like 62.5%, which gets them approximately 10 pixels. So can just make that one change, and of course we'll notice a pretty dramatic shift here, but I still have, although all of my root M text is smaller, it's all the proportions are still good. I'll jump this back up to just 100%, which should be similar to 16 pixels, and everything is kind of back to there. So it gives me very good control on those font sizes. So basically, you should be using root M's for your font sizes. Set the default or the source with your HTML selector, and then simply start to apply RMs or root M's to your font sizes.